And that'll do it. It's over. The Bucks have done it. The long wait has ended. After a half century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another installment of the BeBall Jones podcast with Nelson Haskin. I'm your co-host, Nelson Haskin, and I'm here with the man, BeBall Jones. We're going to skip all that today, but y'all, I wish y'all could see me, boy. Hey, the people that know me know, smiling from ear to ear, because listen, hey, 50 points, guys. 50 points, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks in a closeout game in the finals. Wow. Y'all, hey, I know how LeBron fans felt now. That first championship he got in Miami, I know now. Because I remember I used to be real against LeBron because I used to love the Celtics back in the day. I was a big KG fan. My brother used to love LeBron. I knew a lot of LeBron fans. Well, LeBron couldn't break through that threshold and win that championship. And he went to the finals in Cleveland and lost. Then he went to Miami and lost to Dallas. I remember them days. I remember them LeBron fans they were quiet, boy. But hey, they talked their stuff the whole time until the end. And then next year they came back talking their stuff again. And y'all, that was me. All right. That was me out here defending Giannis Greek Freak Antetokounmpo in these streets. On social media, in real life, in phone calls, in barbershops, everywhere. I've been defending this man's name. Folks was out here calling my boy trash, unskilled. He ain't got no jump shot. He ain't got no bag. He ain't got no moves. He only got one move. All he do is go to the basket. All he can do is make a layup and a dunk. He can't shoot free throws. And now look at him. And now look at him. I remember when James Harden, throw the clip of James Harden saying, I need to know how to do more than just run and dunk. I actually have to learn how to play basketball. That takes no skill. Throw that clip in here right now, man.
And win games, and that's what we'll be trying to do.
You do have people talking about some of the stereotypes that have blown up around you. Charles Barkley, when they had the All-Star draft, was saying, oh, no one wants to take James Harden. He's a dribbler. Giannis Antetokounmpo makes a joke on the air about, I want to take someone who can pass. I'm taking Kemba Walker instead of James Harden.
I average more assists than him, I think.
You ranked 10th in assists going into the All-Star break, and Kemba ranked 36th in assists going into the All-Star break.
So I don't see what the joke is, but I didn't even see it. You know, I don't pay attention to stuff like that. I just know none of them can mess with me.
Well, Daryl Morey, your general manager, had a great line to kind of address all of that. He said, being different doesn't really get appreciated until it works.
Yeah, or when I'm done. You know, when it's all said and done, you know, they'll appreciate it more. You know, but I wish I could just run and with 7 feet and run and just dunk. Like that takes no skill at all. I got to actually learn how to play basketball and how to have skill, you know? I take that any day.
That is what I've been going against the past 2-3 years of defending this man. And y'all, he made me so proud, y'all. I really felt like I won the championship. Like I feel like I was in there. Like me and my coaches, my head coach, and all my coaches up here at Columbus State, and one of our new signees that was on campus yesterday. We all went to Buffalo Wild Wings to, this was really for the recruit, but we went and we watched the game. So I'm watching the game in Buffalo Wild Wings. There's plenty of people in there. Like, if you ever watched the game at a sports bar or something like that, you know how it is. It's kind of packed out. And, some Phoenix Suns fans, there was some Milwaukee fans in there. y'all hear my voice. That's why. Hey, I was immersed in the fandom. Cause hey, my boy was cooking. It was a good game. It was tight the whole way. It was going back and forth. But every time my boy touched the ball, bro, this is how much I've been defending this man. I know what they finna do. I know the plays. They coming down court, pick and roll Giannis. There he is. Pass, layup, give it to him on the block, move out the way, kick out, shot. I know what's gonna happen before it happens. Put me on the coaching staff. All right. I know the plays. I knew they was finna do the handoff to Middleton for the jump shot that sealed the deal. Or it didn't really seal the deal, but that was like one of the daggers in the fourth quarter. It's like, man, when Giannis caught the ball on baseline, dunked on 3 Phoenix Suns players, I was yelling, screaming in the middle of a Buffalo Wild Wings. You think I cared? I was out here, all right? Because I knew this was my boy moment. Deserved it. He worked for it. With all these people, all people tell me every day is what he can't do. That's all anybody tell me. He can't do this. He can't do that. That's all I hear. Nobody ever tell me what he can do. Don't nobody ever say that. He'll have 40 points. Man, he can't do this. He can't do that. But he giving you 40. And boy, let me tell you, as a basketball player that ain't never scored 40 points, I'll take 40 however you give it to me. All right? If he made 40 free throws, we're going to talk about how he got us 40. Don't nobody say nothing about James Harden having 20-some free throws and he give you 50 points and we call him the best scorer in the world. And I ain't trying to take nothing away from things. I'm just saying we so quick to criticize the way my boy scored the ball. It's not something we used to seeing. We used to seeing more finesse and shooting, but we looking at the modern day Shaquille O'Neal. Like we looking at a modern day Shaq. Somebody who dominant, who gonna get, if he close to the basket, is 2 points. We looking at that in our own time. And all I hear is what he can't do. They say he can't shoot, dagger 3-pointer in the fourth quarter. Took it comfortably. They left them open. My boy said, give me the ball. I got it. 3-ball, cash, nothing but net. They say he can't shoot free throws. 16 for 18, Brian. 16. He made 16 free throws. He got more points than Devin Booker off the free throw line. And I just, man, he ain't got no mid-range. He taking fadeaways. He posting up, shimmy, turn around, fade, cash every time. He ain't got no moves. Drive to the basket, crossover, step through, finish. All he got is a euro. Drive, spin move, kick out, 3-pointer, wide open. Drive, euro step, lay with the left. Footwork, impeccable. All right? Great footwork for somebody 6'10", moving as fast as he moving. Can't nobody stay in front of him. They got a big body like DeAndre Ayton. Because what everybody say about Giannis? All you got to do is put a big body on him so he can't just bully away to the basket. All you got to do is build a wall so you don't just get to the rim. Where's the wall, Brian? Where the wall at? Where the wall been all playoffs? Because he played Miami. Miami was the team we saw build the wall in the playoffs last year. And that's when everybody just sealed my dude. Like, hey, all you got to do is build a wall at the basket. You're going to shut them down. Well, guess what? Played Miami this year. And what happened? Get them out of there. Get them out of there. We ain't trying to see them no more. Jimmy, Bam, Tyler, get them out of there. They just, man. And people still got their doubts about him. And he just, every day, he proved what he can do. Every day. And every day he proved what he can do, we bringing up what he can't do. And I ain't seen us do that to nobody else. I ain't never seen nobody get treated like that. Every day he do something good, we talking about what he can't do. Like, you name me the player we said that about. When Bron was on the come on, nobody was saying, oh, Bron can't shoot. And then he went MVP, but he still can't shoot. Nobody was saying that. Nobody was saying Kevin Durant won MVP. Nobody was saying, but KD don't play good defense. Nobody was saying that. Like, all we do is bring up the holes in his game, but there's no hole in his game that he don't make up for in other areas. None. Like, boy. And now when he win, now he got a championship under his belt. I don't see nobody else talking. I ain't seen no, he ain't got no bag. I ain't seen he ain't got no skill. I ain't seen he ain't got no jump shot. I ain't seen none of that. Now we know. Now the people respect him. He had to win a championship for people to respect what he can do and what he brings to the table. Y'all remember when I said he top 5 from now on? Y'all remember when I said that? Hey, I remember when I posted that and people was out here telling me he can't be top 5 with no jump shot. How you gonna be top 5? He can't shoot. How you gonna be top 5? All he can do is run and dunk. How you gonna be top 5? How you gonna be top 5? What about Bron? What about KD? What about James Harden? What about Steph Curry? What about Kawhi Leonard? What about them? What about them? Tell me, what about them? Because what he doing, I ain't seen nobody else do. And all we talking about, what about James? What about Kawhi? What about him? What you telling me that for? So, hey, I say all that to say this. I take back what I said about him being top 5 because he top 3. He top 3 from now on. And you can decide who the 3 is. Is it Bron, KD, him? Is it him, KD, Bron? Is it him, Bron, KD? Is it KD, him, Bron? Whatever you want to say. I believe them the top 3. Until Bron come back from injury and show me he's still top tier and all that, because we don't know what he's going to do. You know, we just all got that blind faith in LeBron at this point, though. But he's top 3 at this point. The 50 piece to close out the finals, he top 3. Give me him. He over Steph. He over Kawhi at this point. And that's hard for me to say, too, because I just told you he was top 5 a couple weeks ago. But I'm here to tell you, things change. He top 3. You can decide where he at in the 3. But I'm not taking no disrespect no more. I'm not doing it. He top 3 from now on. Hey, you just take it how you want to take it. Hey, y'all can bring that up with me later. And I feel free to argue with me. Because guess what? I bet I'll argue back. Comment on these YouTube comments, whatever you want to do. Find me on social media. You can DM me. I promise you. I promise you. I'm going to say something back because the South got something to say. All right? I promise you we going to talk. I need all that. I need my chips with the dip, like Drake said. I need all that. Not ducking no smoke. If you got something to say about my boy, negative, I'm ready for that. And I don't care who you is and what you know. I don't care if you've been coaching 20 years. You could be Greg Popovich for all I care. We're going to go toe-to-toe out here. Because I've been defending my boy. I've been doing it. And that, I ain't ducking nobody. Everybody got to feel me on this. Everybody. Y'all lucky I ain't Shannon Sharp and came out here with a goat mask and a Giannis jersey and all that. Y'all lucky I ain't pull up with the Miles and Yak. Like that ain't my style. You feel me? I'm just gonna come out here, I'm gonna talk my stuff. And then I'm gonna let the pieces fall where they may. But one thing about me, I'm gonna talk my stuff. All right. I've been doing it too long. So I've been talking enough, man. You go ahead, man. You talk, because I need a minute.
Well, that's it from the BeBall Jones podcast. Man. Honestly, bro, at this point I ain't got nothing to say.
Really?
Like, for real, man. Like, I wouldn't say I was a hater of Giannis at all. I was kind of critical of him. I was one of them people.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah,
I got the receipts for it too.
we had our back and forth about it for sure.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just putting it publicly, man. You ain't gotta do all that, man.
I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
Hey, man. All right, but yeah. Like honestly, bro, the 50 piece. Before we even get to the 50 piece, the fact that this man had that injury and came back game one. Most of us thought he only came back to game 2 or 3. He came back game one and off the rip. We had like 30 something game one or high 20s. Like that's crazy alone. You feel me? Came back, killed again. I think the lowest scoring game he had was 26. And that was something like that. Which is about his average for real. Like his lowest scoring points was his average. Then to top it off from there, he said, you know what? To close this game out, to close the series out, I'm gonna throw a 50-piece triple double on y'all. You know what? Make it even nasty. I'm throwing 5 blocks. Like literally, that game, there's nothing you can poke a hole at that he didn't give you. You know, everything that I criticized him for, and wanted him to do more, he showed me during his playoffs. Like, all right, it needs to develop more than just the spin move in a Euro. He said, all right, cool. I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna hit this counter, boom, boom, finish. All right. He drove downhill. He didn't have it. He turned around, post dude up, gave me some post moves, finish. All right, Giannis, I see you, dog. Same thing. He post up. Oh, he got it off the double team, kick it out. Shooters finally knocking down their shots. All right, bro, I see you, man. Like one thing I will say, I've never told you this, but I always respected his footwork. He traveled on some of the Euros and stuff earlier in his career, but as he developed later on, he cleaned it up a lot more. His footwork has been very nice. So I will give you that off top. So there really ain't too much I can really say about him, bro. Like I always respected him for sure, but I do see where he could have gone and developed. But this playoff run has shown me like everything I wanted for him to do, he's done this playoff run. On top of hitting free throws. Like you said, this man hit double digit. I don't care what the number was. That man hit double digit free throws. Only missed 2 of them. Like that man has earned all my respect. You feel me? So ain't too much I can really say about Giannis, man. That man has went out here and balled out. He has done everything that you wanted him to do, and he has dominated. Like you said, I was kind of mad about the modern day Shaq at first because me growing up seeing Shaq, I'm like, bro, ain't nothing touching Shaq level dominance. Like people say Wilt, but I ain't see Wilt, so I don't even put him in a discussion. So it's like the level of dominance Shaq had, because Shaq was the ultimate trump card. You feel me? Like we have a discussion of 3-on-3, 5-on-5. We're going back and forth about point guards and you got Magic here, or Curry here. You go back and forth on that. Or we got Kobe, or you got Jordan. You go back and forth on that. You got Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, LeBron. Back and forth on that. You go power forwards with KG, Tim Duncan, Charles Barkley, whatever. Back and forth on that. Those 4 positions, they you can go back and forth on that. Whoever you want to put your 5, there's one person that I could probably argue to put against Shaq. But most 9 times out of 10, besides that one person that come to mind for me, you put Shaq at that 5 and anybody else, the ultimate trump card is who's guarding Shaq. Literally, I've never heard a solid answer online, in person, through text, anything. I don't care what meme you want to pop up or edited picture you want to say. All these teams are putting Mount Rushmores and who you want to bring to the court with you, who want to bring to the park with you, 5-on-5 all the time. The ultimate trump card has been Shaq. Nobody has an answer for Shaq. Man, who guarded Shaq? Crickets. So that for me, that was a 10 spot when I heard people be like, Giannis is Shaq. That's when my argument came in. Like Giannis is not that dominant, bro. Like he's not. This man dropped the 50 piece in the finals with the triple double, with quote unquote no jump shot. I still won't say he's Shaq level of dominance, but he's in the next tier for sure. I feel like he's past LeBron as far as physically dominant. LeBron has a tad bit more finesse to him. He's probably like the second most dominant player I've ever seen. I can comfortably say that. I'll put him over LeBron as the most dominant player I've ever seen. It's a different category I put LeBron as far as dominance because his overall reign and rule over the Eastern Conference and his finals run and all that stuff. But as far as physically, his input and impact on the game, I ain't seen nothing like Giannis was doing. So I always respected him, his work ethic and everything, his heart, the way he was so humble about everything. He won MVP. Like, nah, it's I like it, I respect it, but it's true. This ring's what I really want. Got a second one. It's like, man, it's cool, but I want this ring off the top. And I was like, all right, bro. I don't know if you can get him in Milwaukee, but I feel like you can get one day. I hope you get one day. Talk trash about Chris Middleton. I mean, all this right now. Talk trash about Chris Middleton. I don't think he's closing. I don't think he's consistent enough. Number 2 for them to win. Man, show his butt off, bro. Scoring 30 pieces when it was crucial for him. Knocking down clutch game winners, knocking down daggers back-to-back games. So he was holding down when Giannis didn't have it. It's just like, man, like, I mean, everything right now. I was questioning Drew for a minute. I'm like, bro, like, where you at, man? Like, defense was a little suspect at time here and there. And next thing you know, giving D-Book and Chris Paul problems. Now, I kind of gave him a pass on the offensive end because he had to deal with both of them for the full game. Then he came back, I think it was game 5, and he had like 18. I was like, man, Drew my boy, so I ain't never throw no shade at him. So, but this finals run was beyond impressive for me, man. So I have nothing to say about Giannis. The man has earned every ounce of respect that he has been given. So I don't know about the top 3. I don't know if I can put him over Steph right now. That's a very hard thing for me to agree with. I have to sit down and really think about that. But top 5 for sure. Like, I saw some posts. He's the only player in X amount of time to have only 2 other people that have this happen: MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all together. I think it might have been one more thing. It's him, Dream, and Jordan.
I know him, Mike, and Hakeem, the only ones that have MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. And I think him and Mike, the only ones to do it before 2026 or something like that, or to have MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP before 26.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Or at the age of 26.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because everything he's done so far, and this dude is only 26.
Only 26.
Like, he's not even prime yet, bro. Like, he's just now getting to where his prime is about to start peaking, according to like the NBA metrics of how we, develop and grow and stuff. Like, usually prime hits late 20s, early 30s. So you probably have usually on average about a 5-year window of being in your prime. Besides, if your name like LeBron James. So it's like, he's not even prime yet, bro. Like, 2 MVPs. Even though I don't consider one of his MVPs he stole that from James Harden, I will still go down on that boat. I don't care. Took that from James Harden. I will go down on that boat, bro. I will say that. we gonna argue about that one.
All right, bro. All right, you can have it.
He got something that
James ain't got.
I just gonna say, I know you gonna let me have that one because he got 2 things James ain't got: that Finals MVP and that Finals ring. So I know you let me have that. But, yeah, man. Like, to see everything he's done, he's only 26. For him to finally win the ring, Finals MVP, 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved, everything he's done, like triple doubles, the 50-point dub or triple double win in the finals, like all this stuff he's done is on 26. Like,
all right, and I got to correct you right here. He did not have a triple double last night.
Oh, he didn't?
He had 50, 14, and 2. He only had 2 assists.
Somebody told me
he had 5 blocks. Double.
Still respectable though. Still respectable.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, he balled out, bro. Like, that man was something else, man. So shout out to him, City of Milwaukee, the whole Milwaukee Bucks organization. Well-deserved championship run. Oh, I gotta clarify this. This is my last little thing. I don't want to hear nobody speak one word out their mouth about any of these injuries. I do not want to hear anything about this ring being tainted. I refuse to hear that. That's one of the things that'll piss me. I don't care who wins the ring. I don't care if the Suns did win it, didn't win it. I don't care if the freaking Generals won it and it was the Harlem Globetrotters. I don't want to hear one word about this ring having an asterisk. You can trace every single ring to being lucky by somebody being injured, by this happening, this player now. I don't want to hear any of that. Every single ring, somebody got lucky along the way to win the ring. So I don't want to hear one word about they didn't have to face such and such. They didn't have to play this person. Oh, this happened or that happened. I don't want to hear none of that. Right? I ain't a Bucks fan, so for me to say this I have to have some, extra little something behind it because I really don't want to hear none of that, man. So that's all I gotta say, man. I don't want to hear one word about this ring having answers on it because of injuries. I don't want to hear that. That's disrespectful to all the games they played in the season, to all the training sessions, every workout. For Giannis, like I said before, Giannis to come back from that injury, there's a lot about him and the training staff and everything. So it's like, that's beyond disrespectful for them to try to discount this man's ring and everything he's done. So I don't want to hear anything about any of that. I refuse. Everybody had to deal with injuries this year, so I don't care about this ring having quote unquote answers. I don't want to hear that. So the floor is yours again, brother. I'm done. So it's all you.
Hey, I just want y'all to know I'm making my voice worse just to get this point out. But man, it just feels so good. Like, hey, despite how you might feel about Giannis or anybody, and I ain't speaking specifically to you, but like, despite how anybody might feel about Giannis, I feel like this one of them rings is like you can't help but be happy for him.
Oh yeah.
For more than anything. Like, if you think he bad, like if you ain't like him as a player or the way he plays, you cannot help but be happy for him because he cannot be more humble, more like childlike happy.
Yeah.
Like childlike happiness. He did it for a city that don't nobody care about or talk about, in an organization that ain't won a ring since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and had the opportunity to leave. And he said this. He talked this stuff last night. He said I could have left. He said it's easy to leave. I could have joined the super team or joined up with like a good team somewhere else and won a ring. But that's the easy way. We did it the hard way.
Yep.
And when he said that, boy, I said, boy, talk your stuff, boy. Let them know. And he know who he was talking to.
Yep.
Hey, he know. Hey, I actually got to learn how to play basketball. You know who he talking to, man.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, that's the main. I think that's the biggest takeaway. He did not run from that, that challenge, because everybody remember, we all remember when he lost to Miami in the bubble, and we was all talking about oh, they just built the wall at the rim and he didn't know what to do. He couldn't do nothing else. They built the wall at the rim and shut him down, took him out the series. He could have left. He could have went and joined up with some guys that could get a bucket, and he just would have did his part and went home with a ring. He could have very easily have done that, but he decided to get it out the mud, stick with the team that drafted him, that believed in him, and he said he's gonna do it for them. He's gonna bring them the ring, and he did. And I just feel like anybody that's not happy for him, you already predetermined to not be happy for him and whatever he does.
Yeah,
it's just, man. You can see it on his face when he got the trophy. You can see it in his face at the press conference holding the trophies. He holding the trophies like he won a race as a little kid.
Yeah.
I just you can't hate him. You cannot hate him and what he accomplished. You just got to be happy for him, even if you wasn't going for him. Same way if the Suns would have won, I would have been happy for Chris Paul at the end of the day. Because I said that early on before the series even started, I would be happy if Chris won a ring. And so Like, of course, I wanted my guy to win, but I know Chris is deserving of a championship at some point. He deserves one at some point in his career. He did that. He did so much for the league. He'd have been so consistent over the years doing what he's doing. He'd earned so much respect for somebody who had never been to the finals until this year. So, like, he's just one of them guys. Like, he deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like that, man. Like, you cannot help you 25 plus. Now you looking different. Like, oh, it was Drew like that, Chris like that. Chris don't play like that often. I said, Coach Butler, we're two good Chris Middleton games away from an NBA championship. And he said, Nelson, you know, like I know that don't happen every day. This ain't no regular occurrence. I said, I know, Coach, but we just need two. They won game 5. See them the next day at workouts. He said, I think they're going to go and win it all. I said, no, don't say that now. Don't say that now. All right? Hey, been in the trenches. Hey, I told my brother this yesterday. I hope you can find this clip too. I don't want to put too much work on you, like editing wise, but I hope you can find this clip too. I told him, like Michael Jordan said in The Last Dance, it's easy to talk when you up, but when you down or when it's 0-0 and you talk, that's when you know. That's when you know what you really made of.
Yeah, you
It's
built
easy.
different.
You built different. If you can talk when you up, that's easy. It's easy to talk when you win. But when it's 0-0 or it's even score, and that's when you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was me the whole time these boys been playing. I remember folks saying they're going to lose to the Nets. And Kyrie got hurt. They still going to beat them. They got KD, James Harden. Then put them out. Went on to the Eastern Conference Finals, played the Hawks. Oh, Trae Young giving them the business. They might lose. They ain't got no answer for Trae. Beat them. Get to the finals, go down 0-2. Y'all might get swept. Chris Paul and them got their number. I've been in the trenches, man. It just feel good that he validated me. I believed in my boy this whole time. It just feel good that my belief in him was not misplaced. And like, even if they would have lost, you know, I ain't never been the one to hop ship on nobody. If I'm a fan of yours, I'm going to be a fan, whether you win or lose. So, like Mike said, it's easy to talk when you up, but when you're down, or it's even score. And that's me. I'm going to do that regardless. I'm going to talk my stuff. If I believe in you like I believe in myself, I'm going to talk my stuff. And that's all I got to say, man. Any last words on the history that we witnessed last night?
That man was legendary, bro. That's all I got to say, man. Like I said before, he earned all my respect. So shout out to Giannis, the Greek Freak. Not just Greek Freak, the Greek Freak. That man has earned every dollar Milwaukee has spent on him, every dollar that Nike has gave him. I don't even know what other sponsorship he has, but whoever has given him money, they have earned every dollar of it. And I know he bringing back some crazy to the bank for them too now. So that's it, man. So I want to flip it to the other side and talk about the Suns. As a person who was going for the Suns, you know, rooting for CP3 and D Book, I'm kind of in a little bit here, man. Christopher Paul, I need something more from him, man. I feel like he just, I ain't trying to blame no excuses, but he was a no-show, man. I don't know if something's going on with him physically, mentally, emotionally, but he didn't show up, man. Out of all people and all the times to not be who you are, Chris Paul did not show up in these finals. And that's my dog. It hurts me to say that. Like, out of all people, I can understand Devin Booker not showing up. He's the young guy. He's 24 now. He's first finals appearance, first real playoff runs. Chris Paul, of all people, bro, as hungry as he was, as crazy ass he went in the Western Conference Finals. He went off for 40 something. He went stupid. He did his thing. He knew what time it was. Of all times to not show up, out of all the times, I've been champion for this man. I done had Twitter battles with people saying this man is a winner. I done had complaints and debates about who Chris Paul is as a player and how great and legendary he is. I done fought for this man like you've been fighting for Giannis. Now that I ain't gonna compare it to your fight for Giannis because it's two completely different fights, but I've been fighting for him, man. That's my dog. As being an undersized guard, being a man of I like his IQ, how he fights, his leadership, all this stuff. For him to basically disappear and not be himself, if it wasn't Chris Paul, and if Campaign put the numbers he had, it would have been like a great job for Campaign.
Right.
For me to say Chris Paul is a top 10 guard right now, and he's not even retired yet, and I'll say without the ring, he's arguably top 7. With the ring, I put him automatic top 5. No debate. No, I'm not arguing. Arguably top 3 all time, really. But for him, for me, for somebody that I feel that strongly about to not show up, that bothered me. That hurt my soul. So I really feel like the other side of me feels like something was going on. But knowing how he is, he's not gonna blame that. I'm not gonna let him blame it. That's not gonna rob me, bro. Like, no.
No excuses.
No excuses. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand. If something was going on, I understand, brother. I feel you. NBA Finals. No excuses. This is probably the one shot he ever will have to get an NBA ring. Unless he want to join up with LeBron, but I highly doubt that.
Same.
The one shot you have, bro, and you basically lay egg for him. For him to be a Hall of Famer right now, Charles Barkley called him the greatest leader every other chance he get. We've been champion for this man, cheering for this man for years now to get a ring. And he basically, for his standards, he laid a goose egg. For his standards. I don't even know if he had a 30-point game all finals. I really don't think so. Now to my other guy, Devin Booker. I'm not as disappointed in him, but for sure disappointed. I feel like he could have been a little bit more composed. Knowing how he is kind of overall, I'm not too surprised though. Sound like I know the guy personally, like I trained him or something. But just seeing how he plays, man, I expect a little bit more from him. He got off and did his thing sometimes. He was carrying the weight. I feel like Chris Paul was a huge reason why they lost, but I'm not going to blame it all on him. Devin Booker played a role in that too. One major flaw I saw with D-Book is his handles. I don't say his handles are bad, but if he ever really started working on his handles, bro, it's a wrap. Like, he already has a 3-point shot. He can get to the rim. His lefty finish is nasty. Like, he's nice when he go at the left. But his in-between game is so, I don't even want to say average, but it's basically average because he doesn't know how to create space like he needs to. Because so many times where he drove middle and PJ would make a good stop and cut him off, and he had no counter at all. Like, he'd pick up the ball and try to pivot and go into that Kobe bag, but you caught, bro. Like, you're not going to sit there and win like that. Because now you got Drew reaching in right there. You basically in Brook Lopez and Giannis territory now. Bobby Porter been terrorizing this whole series. So you pick up the ball in that mid-range, you're done for. You feel me? So there's only so many shots you're going to get off against them. That was cool against the Clippers because they weren't as big. But you eating all that up now with the Bucks. Bucks are huge. So you got to find out some little boogie in the mid-range. You got to figure out how to create more space and how to get that mid-range working for him on another level. So it hurt me a little bit because, you know, like I said, I was rooting for CP3. It hurt me to see him like go out like that, man. Like, at least go out guns blazing, bro. Like, if you should have put up 32 the first game, should have put up 40 the second game, 25 the third game. Like, you should have been going out going stupid. I'd rather seen you go 8 for 30 than like he making dumb decisions too, bro. Like, the dumbest turnovers, the dumbest decision making. It's just like, that wasn't Chris Paul. That was Cliff Paul. That was Jake from State Farm showing up in the Chris Paul jersey, bro. That was not Chris Paul. That wasn't the point guard. Like, I also pissed off one time, and he drove baseline, and like he got to the other side of the rim, He's trying to throw the ball to A, and he's like so casually bouncing to him, bro. I'm like, I almost turned the game off at that point, man. I was so fed up with him, man. Like, I've never seen him do that. Like, I don't know what got into his head, what got into his handles. I feel like he watched that Space Jam and they just sucked the real Chris Paul out of him because that was not who I've been rooting for all these years, man. So I think that's why it hurts so bad. I think that's why it hurts right now for me to say that Chris Paul lost. Not the fact that he just lost, that it wasn't even Chris Paul that showed up.
That he performed the way you
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah, I think that's why it hurts so bad, you know. If it was Chris Paul that came in and did his thing and he gave it all he had, I'd probably been like, man, that was a great series. Don't get me wrong, it was a good series regardless, but it was another level it could have went to if Chris Paul would have showed up. So I'm off my therapist couch right now. I'm done, man. And I need to get that out. That hurt me. So.
I love how I came in with my monologue so like hype and loud and excited, and then you go like Christopher Paul. Christopher Paul.
Oh man.
But I can't lie, I was kind of disappointed in Chris too, because Chris, the way he plays, man, we've been calling Chris the point guard and all that. And you know, we love what's the main thing when people talk about Chris, the number one skill set that we talk about is his IQ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his leadership, his passing, and all that, but that's all a part of his IQ.
Yeah.
And it is in very crunch moments, his IQ seemed very low for him.
Yeah.
Like making Kyle Kuzma-esque turnovers.
J.R.
One
Smith.
play last night, he came off the screen, and it's just like he lost the ball, like a ghost hit it out of his hand.
Oh man.
It was on some like, is this even Chris Paul? Like you would never expect Christopher Paul to turn the ball over like that. This ain't just like doggone Malcolm Brogdon or somebody. No offense to him. This is the man we've been calling the point guard.
Yeah.
To just lose the ball off a regular pick and roll, not even being pressured, not even being like pressed up on, just lose it. And it's like, man, you would never expect that out of him. And so I feel you. I expected more out of Chris. He never scored over 30 points. He led the finals in turnovers between both teams.
Oh my goodness.
It's just something you would not expect from him. And don't get me wrong, Chris is not a scorer like that. You know, Devin Booker is their best player, but Chris Paul is their leader. Mm-hmm. But Book is supposed to be their best player. And Book gave them 40 once. He gave them 40 once, and they lost. And I think that was kind of like a backbreaker for him. I think that kind of hurt his confidence a little. And then today it's like, I can't recapture it. It's one of them things. Like, I can't bring it back. So, and for a while, Chris Paul was doing the bulk of their scoring in the second quarter. Mm-hmm. And then when we got the second half, he kind of disappeared. And so, like you said, man, like they just didn't play the way it would have taken. They didn't give what it would have took to win. There was no way they were going to beat that Milwaukee team the way they played.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee out rebounded them and things like that. And they out hustled them on a lot of plays. But they still could have won had they not turned the ball over one. And they get so many mid-range shots. They get to their mid-range so consistently. And that mid-range ain't going nearly as much as these layups and dunks that Giannis getting on the other end.
Yeah.
And the shots that Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and all of them get open for. It's not going, you're not counterbalancing it. They're not making enough. So it's just one of them things, like I said, man, they just did not perform the way it would have taken to even give themselves a chance.
Yeah.
And you know, you can try to put that on Monty Williams, put that on DeAndre Ayton not being, very dominant as he had been in the past series before the finals and all that. But and I say this too, I don't blame Chris for them losing. I don't put all the blame on Chris. Obviously, they all share that blame.
Yeah.
They all share that blame.
Yeah.
Chris, Book, Aiden, Crowder, Monty Williams. Like, I feel like they share that blame.
Yeah.
And so I don't want people to feel like, I just blame Chris for that. But it has to be said. Like, nobody can point at Chris and be like, hey, he did his job. It's on everybody else. You definitely cannot say that.
Yeah.
Like, if they would have won the finals and Giannis performed the way he did, we would have looked at the Bucks and said, well, Giannis did all he could do. And we would have blamed Chris Middleton or somebody.
Yep.
But the way they played and then they lost, there was no way we could just look at him and be like, it's all on him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I feel like he gave everything he had. We still got to, take into account that he not old, but older.
Yeah.
Maybe this all he got now. Maybe he only good for a couple good games here and there. Like he gave the Clippers 40. Like, I don't think he just gonna bring it back every night. You know what I'm saying? It's sometimes I look at Chris Paul playing, and I'm like, man, Chris do not look good.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he'd be out there like, man, he look like the point guard.
Yeah.
So I just think that's part of his age. It's like he ain't gonna be able to hold it for long. He ain't gonna be able to consistently keep it going. Like I said, there was a stretch in the second quarter. He got the scoring, and then came back after halftime. You didn't even know he was playing.
Yeah.
So we just might have to accept. I know that's your boy. That was your vote for MVP. All that. So I feel like, yeah, that was a cold take, my boy. But he did his thing up until this point.
Yeah.
But I just think this might be one of the things we have to accept. Like, this might be the best we get out of Chris Paul the rest of the way. So
I think the thing about that is, though, like you said, he's not a scorer. So even if he averaged 18 points, I could have accepted that. It was like the mental lapses that he had that bothered me the most. Like, he was not the point guard that controlled the game, controlled the flow and the offense for the Suns. That's what really, like, missing shots and not being able to take over offense as far as scoring, understandable. That's never really been a Chris Paul thing for like the past 3 years, maybe. So I wasn't expecting him to go off and just average 30 for the series. That's not his job. Like, even if he did that, I wouldn't feel like that would have won them the series, to be honest with you. I feel like you said before, Booker's their best player. So the offense and the team's going to go as far as Booker can carry them. If Booker would have went off for 30 every game, that would have been a whole different story. Chris Paul going off for 30, it's cool, but with his role is on the team is to make sure the offense is running right and make sure everybody's in the right spot, the right place at the right time. Everybody's getting the right passes they need where they need it. So by him scoring, 30 points is taken away from Aiden getting his touch that he needs, from Crowder getting the touches that he needs, from Mikal Bridges getting the touch that he needs. So him scoring that much wasn't a big factor for me personally. Like, Book needed to score 40. Like, we weren't going to win without Book scoring 40. And like you said, I agree with what you said at one point too, where Book was cooking and he was looking like a freaking monster out there. Like, they had no answer for him at all. They didn't care what they threw at him. Like, PJ was roughing him up, Drew was on him, he was just cooking. And he got in foul trouble at one point and he had to sit down. And Chris Paul was on the floor and he hit 2 buckets that I was like, oh, point guard finna cook up. After that, he hit a dumb shot. Next after that, he had a dumb turnover. I'm just like, man, he just looks zapped out right now. So I'm not saying that Chris Paul is going to be, point guard and be able to sustain that level of play all the time. I'm not looking for him to score 40 every series. You feel me? I'm just looking for him to be point guard, at least with IQ and decision making. Like, that's the one thing that we never had to question. Like, even young Chris Paul, we didn't have to worry about turnovers from him. We didn't have to worry about taking bad shots. We didn't have to worry about his assist to turnover ratio has been ungodly for like years now. Like, his level of assist to turnover ratio is like historically ridiculous. Like, I think he had like 5-1, which is stupid for his amount of usage. But for him, I think it's 5-1 or 4-1, something like that, something very high. What basically means, like, for every 5 assists that he has 1 turnover. So if he has 10 assists in the game, he's only going to have 2 turnovers, which is ridiculous for somebody to handle the ball as much as he does. Like that's very efficient. And like you said, for him to have the most turnovers out of everybody in the finals, like no offense, but Giannis, I would expect to have that. No offense, like he just is kind of wild sometimes. Somebody like even Booker, I would kind of expect him to have sometimes. Chris Middleton, I would expect it to have. Chris Paul, bro, like of all people, like if you would have said who had the most turnovers each game, you could have been like, nah, I definitely ain't Chris Paul. Like that's one thing you can book on. But for him to have that hurt, man. So I don't know. It's just kind of like I'm a loss of words for him right now because I really don't understand what happened because it's like you went to the series and Giannis won doing his dunks and everything. Like you'd be like, what is Giannis doing, bro? Like, why aren't you dunking? Why aren't you driving to the goal? You'd be like, what is going on? Like Giannis is dunk. Like people say all Giannis did was dunk and drive to the goal. Chris Paul does not turn the ball over and make dumb decisions. That's the equivalent to me. If Steph Curry went to the game, he won shooting threes. You look at Steph Curry like he's crazy. That's how I feel about Chris Paul and these dumb decisions. That bothers me to my soul. And I'm just puzzled right now. I don't get it. So it's not the loss that bothers me. It's how the loss happened. It's just the lack of Chris Paulism not being there. That's what
Chris Paulism.
That's it, man. I'm done. Salute to the Bucks. Hopefully we can find Chris Paul before this week goes out and find out where he went.
He sure miss.
But
He sure miss. All right, so last thing before we go. If you Phoenix Suns GM, do you re-sign Chris Paul? And if you do, for how long? Do you max him out? Do you reward him for what he did for your program or for your organization? Or do you offer him some good money and if you don't take it, you let him walk? What do you do?
Ooh, that's tough.
Because I had this argument with my assistant coach several times this week, several times. And again last night, several times. But go ahead. I'm excited to hear what you say.
Honestly, I'm gonna kind of hedge my thing before I say it. It really depends on the offers you got on the table. It really depends because it's easy for me to say I just trade them or I just let them walk, but I don't know what the offers they got on the table. You feel me? Because I just saw it today that the Lakers are looking at getting at Chris Paul. Well, if I'm them, I'm like, oh, we could do a sign and trade and let me get Schroeder or let me get a KCP, a solid role player to help. You know what I mean? It just depends on, or Alex Caruso. I just saw that he's looking at the Cavs looking at him. So it really depends on the offer. But to actually answer the question, if Chris wants to come back, I would definitely consider it. But I know for sure I'm getting another ball handler out there. I like Cameron Payne a lot. But one thing that hurt them too was a lot of times Drew Holiday would pressure the ball up court, and then Peter Tucker pressure Devin Booker. So you're looking at Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges trying to bring the ball to the floor, and the offense is a little bit slower getting into it. Against that defense that they have, that hurts them. And all those it's a little 2% each in here and there adds up to being a 10-point loss or whatever. So I'm for sure getting another ball handler in there, regardless of Chris Paul sounds or not. I'm getting another guard in there for sure. I like Cameron Payne, but you need something else. You need a little bit more firepower, just for sure. If Chris Paul does leave, I gotta get something back for him. Like, I gotta get something back for him.
But this is the thing. Chris is in the opt-out year. He in the player option year. So he can opt in for one more year for that last year on his deal. However much that is. I don't really know how much that is. Or you opt out and, try to re-sign or test the free agent waters, whatever you want to do. So it's not like they can just say, oh, I'm going to get some for him. Because Chris can opt out and make them offer another contract.
Yeah.
There are reports that he's going to do that regardless. So it's not like they could just wait and see and be like, If you want to leave, we resign you or we trade you. Like they ain't got no power. It's the power is increased. So it just depends. But my thing is, let's say he does opt out, which is looking more and more likely. If you Phoenix, how many years do you offer him in his next contract?
I think he's 36 right now, so no more than a
He
1
is
plus 1.
36.
No more than a 1 plus 1.
No more than a 1+1. Even with what he did for your organization, getting them to the finals for the first time,
Devin
leading
Booker,
your young team.
Devin Booker was matter. That's my main thing. Like I love Chris Paul and what he does, but I gotta capitalize on Devin Booker.
Book already signed up though.
What I'm saying is I gotta capitalize on what he's doing now. So like I have to build around him now. So Chris Paul at 38, what can he give me on the court that somebody else cannot give me? You feel me? So I'm trying to build as much as possible and capitalize on Devin Booker as young as he is now. So I'm not trying to get him to where he's a Giannis and he's debating in 3 more years do I stay with Phoenix. Like, no, I'm trying to make sure that you know I'm rocking with you. I'm making sure I'm building around you now to where you have no thoughts about should I leave Phoenix whenever his contract is up. So my focus is Devin Booker. Like, do you want CP3 back? Then we can think about discussing on how long we have him there. But if CP3 leaves, tough. You feel me? But Devin Booker is my main priority. You feel me? I'm not trying to like I respect. I was thinking about it this week about from Chris Paul perspective. Do I leave or do I go? I haven't thought about it from the organization, but from the organizational standpoint, it's like I respect everything that he's done. I'll probably retire his jersey number to be honest with you. You know, but as far as like this year and what I have to do based off of that, I can't throw out everything I'm building for just for this 1 year. You feel me? So I would a 1+1 or a 2 at max, or 2+1. So I can't see me signing him that long. Just because, like you said, I don't know what I'm going to get from him night in, night out. I don't know if it's going to be that 40-point game, like you said, a Kyle Kuzma performance, where you go off for 40 one game, or Chris Middleton go off for 40, next thing you're going off for 10. And his 10 can still be a great 10 because he controls the pace of the game, controls the floor. He can get you 12 assists that game and have you, instead of having 20 turnovers that game, you're solidified with having 8 that game because Chris Paul can do that for you. So because I know that Chris Paul can give you that is why I'm considering bringing him back. But I have to think about, okay, Devin Booker needs to develop and grow. I have to capitalize on this past year for him. I have to capitalize on the momentum that he has, you know, in his own personal development. So I feel like I will capitalize on what Devin Booker wants and more importantly, what he needs. So I'm getting him some type of co-star, whether it's CP3 we're signing or I'm trading for somebody else. I'm getting some type of co-star for him regardless. I don't care if it's freaking Bradley Beal as his running mate. Like I'm signing somebody to run with this man and we building around him. So I think
What I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what if Book come to you as the GM and say, do whatever it takes to get Chris Paul back? Like whatever it takes, make sure CP3 play for Phoenix next year.
1+1 or 2+1.
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna say like
What
that's the most I can do for him. But I said the most like my main priority is D-Book. So of course I'm trying to make him happy. Like I'm not. This is the wrong time. This is the wrong day and age to piss off your superstar. The wrong day and age. Like you can do it in the 90s, you can do it in the 80s. You can piss off your best player, and they'll come back with you because you signed them for an 8-year deal, and they can't opt out like we're doing now. So or ask for a trade like they're doing now. So I think that unless Chris Paul got some real secret stuff in his juice, and he got a fountain of youth, and he can go back to the real point guard and show up consistently like we know he needs to, no more than 2 years, I'm keeping him there. Or at least right now, the contract I give him right now. Now, if he shows his butt off and he can be LeBron in show some real point guard in his late 30s, then I consider it later into that contract. But for right now, from what I've seen and the goose egg that he basically laid for his standards in the playoffs, in the finals, no more than a 2+1 for him. I might max out for or come close to a max out of what he's worth. Maybe I have to look at the contract and know what that'll be, but I'm not finna throw out everything that I'm trying to build around D Book for it to satisfy Chris Paul. Feel me? So that's a tough one because this whole situation is pretty weird. So yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say a 1+1. I think Chris Paul has to understand that too because he didn't perform in the finals by his standards.
Yeah, his stock did kind of lower at that point.
Like if he went off and he, like you said before, if we could point at Chris Paul and say, okay, he's not the reason we lost this finals. He did his job of what we expect from him. That would have raised his case. He would be like, yo, you got to max me out whatever I ask for, or at least close to it. But by him not even showing up as who we know him to be, you just lost a couple mil off of that, possibly. So I don't know. Maybe James Jones looking at him like, yo, I got you. But James Jones was a player. He understands. So he probably looking at him like, I got you, Chris. I'm gonna look out for you for at least 1 year. But from James Jones, that man's a smart. I'm glad he won GM of the Year because that man architected this team massively to get them to this point. You know, nobody had them going from the cute bubble story last year to the NBA Finals this year. Nobody had that. Nobody. I don't care what you say, unless you live in Phoenix or Arizona, or you are a Chris Paul or Devin Booker fan. Nobody had them doing this. Nobody. So I feel like it's a 1-year deal for Chris Paul, maybe 2 years. So that's tough. That's all I got, man. I don't see him signing more than 2 years for sure. I'll be surprised. So,
Yeah, I said similar to things to what you saying. He was saying, my voice, terrible. He was trying to say Phoenix should reward him for what he's done. They should sign him for whatever it takes, max him out, whatever. That was his thing. I said, Coach, I'll sign Chris Paul. If I'm Phoenix, I'll sign Chris Paul for whatever Pat Beverly is making. I'll sign him for that. Pat Beverly making he on a 2-year contract, $39 million. I said I give Chris that. 2 years, $39. Best I could do. And if he don't like that, he just gonna have to walk. And I ain't saying come to him and be like, hey, this Pat Bev contract, this is what we gonna get. I ain't saying that. I'm saying give him a similar contract to that. 2 years. Because anything past 2 years, really anything past next year, you're on borrowed time. You never know when it's gonna be over. So, and if you walk, unless Chris Paul, if you feel Chris Paul is your missing link to a championship, I'm not signing him. And maybe Phoenix feel that way. Maybe Phoenix want to run it back with him. Maybe they feel like they know what they did wrong, whatever. That's on them. But if he walk in a free agent and another team has to try to sign him, I'm not signing him unless I truly believe he's gonna be the missing link to a championship. Like you could say he might be that for the Lakers. You could say he might be that for the Clippers, maybe the Dallas Mavericks, whatever. But if he not our Drew Holiday, let's say that.
yeah.
If he's not gonna be the Drew Holiday for our team and be the missing link, I'm cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think he will be, then you sign him for whatever you think you need to sign him for, and God bless
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man, because that's too much money to be putting in somebody that's like you said, not the missing link. Like I'm not gonna sit here and commit to you long term and commit to you that much financially for you to not be that guy. I'm not like the Mavs where we actually won the ring and I'm gonna reward you for that. Like what Mark Cuban's doing with JJ Barea. I would do that. I would sit here and how long you want to pay? All right, cool. I don't care if you're 45, bro. You want a roster spot? I got you. Whatever vet minimum is, I got you. Like, I'm not gonna reward. Like, at the end of the day, they won, so I can understand that to another level. Like, that's the honoring that they have. You helped me get this ring. You secured me. Whatever he secured him, I got you. I'm gonna take care of you. Thank you for this finals appearance. That was great. It's the first one we had since '93 or '94. '93, and it was fun. It was nice, but I'm not giving you a key to the city for a finals appearance. Like, I'm not finna throw my checkbook at you for a finals appearance. Like, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay it, but at the same time, finals appearance versus finals ring. That's two different conversations. Like, it's legit a huge gap between winning that ring and winning an appearance. It's two different conversations. And so I'm the Suns organization and James Jones and whoever else is up there. Thank you for your services, Chris Paul. We appreciate everything you did. We're looking at a 1+1 or a 2+1. I don't know about 49 mil. I could look at maybe 50 mil as I could look at that as being around the ballpark for sure. But I can't say, whatever you want, I got you. I'm not going to pay you for your services for that, bro. Like, I appreciate it for sure. I don't know if I could do it without you, but I'm not just going to throw everything at you before this. I feel like there's a better way to reward him than just throwing money at him, which could be, I'm gonna trade you to a team that you want to get traded to. We can do a sign and trade. You opt back in and sign you for a 2 or 3 year deal, whatever this team want to have you for. We trade you over there, and I get some pieces back. That's a very respectable thing to do. You feel me? Because that's what OKC did. They signed a man. It's like, hey, I know you want to be here for a rebuilding team, and we respect everything you've done for the league and everything. Sign you for a couple years. We're gonna trade you to a nice, respectable organization, wherever you want to go. Fans do the same thing right now. You want to get 30 mil, 50 mil, cool. We finna call the Clippers. We finna call the Lakers. We finna call the Knicks, whoever, and see what they want to do. What can they give us? Because at the end of the day, D Book is my main focus. DeAndre Ayton is my secondary focus. So if you can't, like you said, be our Drew Holiday and get us over the hump of being LeBron James and Jamal Murray and Joker and the Clippers and whoever else in the West, you got to go, my brother. So I think it's a smarter way to go, what your coach was saying, but I'm not going to say throw the checkbook at him. Like, I'm throwing away with next year, basically, unless I can find some stupid trade to have, and I doubt it's going to happen. So, and I love Chris Paul. I'm not against anybody getting their bag ever. I'm not going to be one of them people, but it's not my money either. I won't be mad if Phoenix does it, but I can't see them making sense of signing this man for a crazy amount of money and saying that we're going to compete and win unless Chris Paul, like you said, can be our Drew Holiday. So that's up to the Suns to evaluate and see. So we'll see in a couple weeks, probably pretty soon, because we got the draft coming up in a week or two from here. Olympics runs coming soon, so I'm pretty sure going to get a D-Book and everything a minute to chill out and let him get ready for Tokyo. But I don't see him throwing too much at Chris Paul, man, especially after this past week and past 2 weeks of what he did. So we'll see.
And just to point this out, this will be my last point. When Chris was with the Clippers, he was in a similar situation, and he opted in so the Clippers could trade him to the Rockets and get something back instead of opting to leave, because he, just rocked with the organization like that, I guess, or maybe Jerry West or whatever. So maybe do something similar to that. Like, hey, I want to leave. I want to get traded. I want to go to one of these places, but I'm gonna opt in so y'all get something back from me in exchange. So I don't just leave y'all high and dry. Yeah. He did the same thing for the Clippers, so maybe he do it again. I'm just pointing that out. That's all just conjecture, but we never know. You never know how he really feel about the organization, if he really even feel any loyalty to them or anything. This is first year there, so something like that. You know, he probably love booking them. I ain't saying that, but like they owner, I don't even know his name. So like he might be up there like, all right, buddy, I appreciate hey, but it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. I had a good time. You know, we tried our best. Good luck in all your future endeavors. But I don't know. We'll see how you do it. We'll see. You know, we'll probably talk later about free and all that in a future episode. But as for right now, me and my guys celebrating. I'm on the way to the parade right now. I'm finna leave. So when we press stop record, I'm gonna be out of here on the way to Milwaukee. I want to be there for the parade.
Oh man, that's funny. So I'm gonna try it again this week. All right, so that's it from the BeBall Jones podcast. It's another episode. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I'm recovering a little bit too. Running the camp this week, my voice ain't all the way like it usually is. Nelson recovering from his celebratory, voice lapse of Giannis balling out doing his thing. So bear with us. Thank you for bearing with us doing this podcast. We just had to get this out here real quick. So thank you for tuning in this week. This has been the Nelson Haskins podcast featuring BeBall Jones this week. Shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks organization. This has been a rough past 2 years. So shout out to them getting through this. Shout out to them getting through this past season. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns organization. Getting to the finals is no small feat. So salute to both of those teams. Everybody from the coaching staff to the training staff to everybody working the arena, security, everybody. It goes a lot. It's a lot that goes into each season and each team. So shout out to everybody there. It's been a fun season. We've enjoyed it. Shout out to the MVP Joker, everybody that won their awards, the coaches, everybody, man. It's been a great year. Another fun season. And that's it from us, man. So we'll see what happens with Tokyo and see what USA basketball does, see what this draft looking like. And I'm going to catch some WNBA games this year, see what they're looking like on that side whenever they resume after Tokyo. And that's it. See y'all next week with my individual Mental Moment podcast. And after that,
Talk about how disappointed you is in Chris Paul.
Chill out, man. Chill out. Ain't got time for that, man. But no, man. We'll see y'all later, man. We're gonna have to recover our voices. See how we can recover after this week from both of us for two different reasons. So that's it, man. Anything else?
That's it, man. Appreciate y'all for listening to your boy. And top 3 from now on. We'll see y'all next time.
All right, see y'all. Shout out to the Bucks again. I'm sorry, Giannis. I'm believing now, man. I got you.